Despite stronger promises, the world is set to overshoot climate targets, UN GAP report finds.
Here's a summary of the article.
Then there's the agendas around the global emissions trading market and ensuring effective rules there, he said. Well-regulated carbon trading schemes can ensure developing countries are financially rewarded for conserving ecosystems such as rainforests, which act as carbon sinks. At the UN climate talks, every country gets one vote, whether you're Tuvalu or China. Pacific Island countries, their slogan is 1.5 to stay alive. They see Glasgow as something of a last ditch in their struggle for staying below that threshold. It will be the Pacific Island countries and major powers like the US and UK working together to heap pressure on the laggards, and that includes Australia. Ahead of COP26, United States Special Presidential Envoy for Climate John Kerry has been pushing for more countries to increase their emissions reduction targets. This is the biggest market opportunity the world has ever known, Mr. Kerry said. Science in your inbox. Get all the latest science stories from across the ABC. Email address.
This post received a score of 1,000, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
We need legally binding treaties, not empty promises.
But what if we promise real hard? Coal and oil industries.
Wow. Who would have thought promises from politicians were hollow and empty and nothing is going to be done until it affects their bottom line?
As an Australian, of course this comes from an Australian news source. Some of the worst inaction towards climate change that I've seen.
American here, I can't really blame you guys. I mean, the front fell off.
These promises aren't worth the ink it takes to write them down. The only thing they achieve is PR, when announced, and a sigh, when they are broken. Sometimes, simultaneously.
I promise to single-handedly solve the climate crisis by New Year's. Sure, my plan involves copious amounts of wishful thinking and literal deus ex machine to work, not to mention actual magic, but it's the thought that counts, right? I'll be expecting my UN-issued Nobel Prize in the mail by Christmas.
We'll only really care after it's bad.
They probably won't even care then. Those that could make a difference now, that is.
Probably cause they're the ones doing it.
Well, politicians, I doubt I am the only one that thinks if climate change is going to put an end to my family, it'll make sure you'll go before us.
The key to every relationship is reciprocity.
Promises and action are not the same. We need to stop falling for all these promises.
Time to bust out the strongest promises.
Does anyone actually believe that the world has the ability to come together to sort this out? Like, it's almost instantaneous when you mention this shit that people will be like, but what about China or India? If we don't globally come together, we are fucked. There has never been a point in history where we have come together for a common goal as big as this. Especially when there's so many interests dependent on stopping any real change. Time to start building the underground vaults.
Greater than time to start building the underground vaults for the rich and famous.
On top of the bones of the rich and famous.
Promises LMAO.
Surprise dipshits. Never forget, an ExxonMobil lobbyist was invited to a fake job interview. In the interview, he admitted ExxonMobil has been lobbying Congress to kill clean energy initiatives and spreading misinformation to the public via front organizations. BBC News, COP26, document leak reveals nations lobbying to change key climate report etc.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.